Hi, bunker, what do you call it? Southern collard greens, one. I don't sound so enthused. Uh, I am. I am. I'm actually fine. If anyone cares. I usually get a stir stick. Nails are nice, right? You gotta do the hologram a little bit better. It was my first time. I'll figure it out. Alright. Nails is a hobby. Here, what have we over here? Chicken. Just a couple of servings. I'll eat this after a couple of days, you know. Eggs to dip. Really, really easy. Easier than the traditional flour and stuff. There's your collard greens. And couldn't find ham hocks. And this is really cool because the sausage, kielbasa, is a great replacement for the smoky flavor. It's a little bit of a perk if you don't want ham hock flavor. If you don't want a ham hock, you want something else in your greens, right? It's like a nice little perk, a little accent or whatever. And it does the same smoky. So I thought for my international audience that this would be also something they would be familiar with. Oh, kielbasa, smoked sausage. Because what I'm making is a real traditional collard green, Southern American food. And you would have to live here. I mean, like live here, like every day, right? Live here. To have this collard greens with ham hocks, really, really Southern variation, you'd have to live here at least a year. And that's not a guarantee you would actually eat this. You'd have to either go looking for it or so on and so forth. Have somebody take you, because it's just not a totally common dish, but but in America it also is. And there's history to this. This is like an African American Southern dish. It's known to be common, eaten in African American communities or whatever. But the reason why this is history, and this is our history, we have to be honest, was when the African Americans were here for how many hundreds of years, right? They were slaves. Oh, we got to stop this thing. Is acting up. The last thing I need right now. Come on, people. Let me do this again. I don't know why it does this when I'm filming. Hold on. Okay. It's cool. It's not broke. I can't handle all this stuff all at once going off. It does that to me. This house. This house is not haunted. It has dimensional bullshit going on. But I ain't talking about that to no fucking Americans because they don't want to learn nothing new. So back to our history of, so it's why things break in here. Let me pivot back. It's why weird little electronic glitches happen a lot. Look, I have my quote unquote theory to that. But fuck it. I won't even mention it. Never mind. But so the Africans were slaves for hundreds of years, and because they were slaves, they only had like access to certain foods, which was like pork and chicken, and so this is why collard greens was smoked. This is smoked sausage, but that's a perk. Traditionally, it was ham hocks, which is the flavor. The smoke is what you want. Collard greens and smoke, but this is great with the sausage. I thought, do that for your international audiences. It'll be more appealing to them. And it is more appealing to just, I think, the average Joe. You know, make it a little nice. With some smoked sausage, you got the flavor. It's a little different, but it's nice. It's nice the other way. I love eating it the ham hock way. I buy ham hocks. Well, but you can't find nothing like that in DC. Don't worry about what you can find at the stores here. It's a practical joke. Anyway, so that's the history of this dish. Is they would get a lot of collard greens and eat a pretty balanced, healthy diet. So now it's time. I did a lot of tours in my life. I did a lot of historical tours. A lot of my photos were erased off the internet, which is really upsetting. But I did them. I clearly remember them. So once you get the onions kind of wilted, you want to start wilting your collard greens. And then we're going to do it real fast in the pressure cooker. because this is the way to go when you're tired or you're busy. It's the way to go, dude. This is a modern invention, so I'm all about it. I'm just not a supporter of only using an Instapot, dude. That's where America kind of destroyed themselves with these imaginary beliefs they had. You know, that's all the above. But anyway, so about historical tours. So one of the historical tours I never got to do was a slave plantation tour. I did sort of one throughout Virginia. I would love to share with someone that trip I went on. It was like a Civil War site, and also some, of course, was the Civil War about. So you found yourself, if you did the tour right, which I did, I helped plan the tour. It's a driving tour. You did it right. You came to some really historical old plantations, which I just hope I can somehow retrieve these photos. But you know, right now, living in these circumstances, I'm going to kind of let it slide. I know I won't always be living like this, and I can try to regain some things I might have had taken from me, like photos or... So anyways, we're just going to kind of stuff this in here. This is not the best way to do it, but you can. Let it kind of wilt for, I would give this about 5 minutes. Keep tossing it, and then you're going to put the lid on for 12 minutes. It's in the directions. Now, when Bon Appetit is doing this, do it, man. I live by them, and you know that. For online, you can really do a lot with Bon Appetit and Savior and Food and Wine. Those are the sites I always push those on you. But I did a historical tour, and this is what I would suggest for... I've done all these, so note this is from life experience. And this is no coincidence that I've done these tours. I learned that now as I sit here in Washington, D.C., and I think, you know, Heidi, that wasn't coincidence, sweetheart, that you did all this all your life, these crazy historical tours, dude. So this is what I would suggest, that you come to America, you spend about 2 weeks. You start in Philly, you do the colonial thing. I say it kind of c'est la vie because I'm tired and I'm trying to focus on this. There's a restaurant, you can get into it. It'll take about 2 days if you want to spend time at the Constitution area. But go through Old Town, go through all this. It takes about 2 days. You have a lot of fun. Now, our economy screwed up. Now, when we get Al-Qaeda and the white nationals out of our economy, this kind of tour will be more practical, okay? Because they played with our economy. They made everything expensive. They started a class fucking war. We're in class warfare. And they started a goddamn fucking race war. Okay, they did everything they could. They threw this kitchen sink, not only at me, but at my country. But like in the future, I do believe cities like Philadelphia will still be on the map, okay? Of course, man. So this is my suggestion. You go there, you start there with your colonial tour, and then you hop down to DC, whatever's left of this city, because I can't promise. I can't. I've always said that. Every time I leave my house, right? What do I say? I'm kind of tired of being a broken record, but I pray for the city because there's so much history here. I pray. I'm like, Jesus Christ. Can you try to preserve some of the history here, man? Because they're really trying to ruin it. These people. But I would suggest you go from Philly to DC. And then, after DC, dude, hop on down to Williamsburg. Yes, I've been to Williamsburg. I would spend about 2 days there. I spent a little longer, but this is how you get a real sense of what was going on when they made the United States. And I say made, like, come on, you know, I can have a little more command of the English language. But this makes the point. When they made the United States, do that too, where you're going to have a lot of insight. And I can share my insight another day. But there's a few other places, yeah, you want to go. You could start at Plymouth Rock. I've been there. And you could go ahead where George Washington lived in Jefferson. I've been to all those places. But I don't want to get too far off the beaten path. But yeah, you can see that these were really novel, admirable, wonderful humans that had no intention of where it ended up. And you know that they were far more deep thinkers than what's in power now. Because no way would George ever say, hey, this is an experiment. Oops, sorry. He wouldn't even fucking murdered that, man. This was not. All right? And he intended for people like me, associate's degree or above, to, you don't even have to have associate's degree, but it does help. I mean, your basic if you can do college, dude, not everybody's expected to because it's hard. But you're basic. I mean, it is something to be very proud of. And I was intending on getting more than the associates, but that's here nor there right now. And you know what? I'm fine with that. I've come to terms with that. You don't have to. It's not an elitist thing, bourgeoisie thing, where you have to get an education here. But dude, if you like, dude, I mean, you know how much respect I have for people who have like a master's and PhD, and you should, because normally in a normal world, all over the world, people who dedicate their lives to academia are pretty cool people. You like to talk to them. They have some neat thoughts to share with you, dude. So, and that's where George was. He was basically like that. And he didn't expect people to be like Russian mob thugs in the government saying, oh, it's an experiment. Oops. No. And there are really educated people who are in power in other countries that are not having this, folks. Anyway, so this is our corn, not our corn, but see how this is? This is nice. So we're going to put the pressure cooker on now. I had to put a little water in here. Hold on. Let's get some water. Is that a cup? You need that for the little baby. And I've been chatting. So we want to add some of these spices too while we're at it, okay? This is a little more than a cup. That's enough right there, I think. Let's just go ahead. Okay. So, okay. That's about a cup. This will work. The thing won't fucking explode. Don't worry. We're going to get that going. And it calls Bon Appetit says Fresno peppers. That's fine. Do it. That's how I learned. Is go by the book with Bon Appetit. Savior, go by the book. Yo. But you can. I'm not encouraging it, but you can use red pepper flakes. I mean, they work just as good. But no, you want it to be that level up, then you know who to go by the book of. Okay, so we're gonna put red pepper flakes in here. I'm gonna put. Let's turn this off. I'm gonna put garlic powder in here. I don't like the powders. I like to do more natural. Okay, so I mentioned that, you know, a few times, so it's out there that I'm comprehensive of these things. All right, there's some garlic powder. I'm going to add the salt later when it's done, okay? I generally add salt when it's done. Sometimes not. All the time, sometimes I add a little bit of salt before. But, see, this is looking good to my international audience. I'm sure you're like, that does look good. Yeah, this is a traditional Southern dish. All right, and I don't have a lot of nice things to say about the South, and I still just don't. I'm sorry. I know there's good people down there, so just understand. I don't have a lot of nice things to say about the United States. The United States is God's country. George was incredible. What we have here, I want to keep the vision of George and Jefferson, and then, of course, have it under military control. And then, do you know how freaking awesome that's going to be? Yeah, because people need to know they're safe and they need to have food, and then watch how awesome, man. It's really simple. It's some things in life are really simple. So we're going to cover this. Okay, and that's the Pentagon. Yes, Pentagon is still rocking, and so is the DOD boss. I just got to stop watching all these people because I get upset. That's my own business. All right, cancel. Here, let's do pressure cook for 12 minutes. We want regular. Whoa. There. Okay, and then don't touch it because it goes off on its own. 12 minutes. See, watch. I'm bent over here. It's not advised for my back in this house. Anyways, there. See, that means it's going. Okay, so this is done, and so all you got to do is toddle back over to your area here. Your chicken can be like, you know, left out for a little bit, not a long time. Come on, because you want it to be a little bit not ice cold. And you got your eggs. You got your oil. You want to use some sort of oil like this, rather inexpensive oil. And it's perfect for frying. But the Instant Pot, you want it to get super hot. So I've learned that one. And this is real simple. This is like, I would say, a little bit more gourmet. Chicken is fine. You can do whatever you like with fried chicken. I'm going to do a bistro gourmet chicken with panko. It is a little bit, I see, a little fancier. I like that. You could also do your traditional bread and flour, or flour and egg, and mix the panko. Okay? And there are Kellogg crumbs. I did see those. There's nothing wrong with Kellogg crumbs, but I'm just a little bit more of a Bon Appetit food and whiner. So I stick with the traditional panko, but there's nothing wrong with a crunchy or a crumb. Okay? And so this is what we're doing today. All right, God bless America. Say goodbye.